Well, we were at a meeting with the Culture Secretary and Lady Provost of Renfrewshire. This was a cultural conversation, and where they were looking for ideas about how do you define Scottish culture? What is the definition of Scottish culture? Again, you can't define it by a single category, but what you can do is say that Scotland's culture is one of mutual support and solidarity. Scotland's culture is that of innovation, but it's also of an enlightened process, a process where, irrespective of where your place is in society, you should have the same weight in a conversation. Whereas what we really tend to get dictated to is you're only a member of the community, we need to bring in outside agencies to provide this specialist knowledge in local communities. So again, you don't get specialist knowledge in local communities unless you go into the community, and this is what we had tried to explain to the panel that was there from the Scottish Parliament. To define culture, or to have a way to define culture by any citizen, means that citizen needs to be involved in the culture, because otherwise it's BBC, ITV or whatever TV channels.
The other thing is, look, they're still in this kind of mode about it's Paisley City of Culture and Jerry Rafferty came from Paisley and stuff like that. Yeah. They just pull these kind of names out of personalities and stuff. And it's like the Glasgow thing as well. You got this culture. They don't mention the Enlightenment or any of these great Scottish traditions.
Yes.
We were talking about, the education system and all these great things that's come up in the culture of the land. And they're never mentioned. It's just like personalities and get kids involved in sport and this, that and the next thing. But there's a massive rich culture. One of the things we suggested in George Square, why don't we have banners up saying 500 years of the People's Common Good Fund?
Yeah.
What I mean? That's something people would be proud of, and we've got it all over the place, and my generation's enjoyed it all their life. Glasgow City of Style and all this kind of nonsense. When there's all this real culture and Enlightenment politics and different things like that. I mean, there's so much. But when you go to these things, people don't get it. You talk to them about it, and it's as if they've just discovered that there actually is a bit of culture in Scotland, that's worthy of being proud of or whatever. But they're so tied up in this, how are we going to do it? How are we going to get the funding? Maybe somebody else will get the funding. And they're rushing away there and trying to make all this stuff happen. And it's always international, because that means you can spend money outside the community and all this kind of stuff. But we did, and we will talk about ideas that we've put together about the commons and different things that's happening in Renfrew. And the potential of some of these places is amazing. Like Renfrew's next to what's it called, the big supermarket? Braehead. And people must be getting sick looking at Braehead now. And what a brilliant thing if Renfrew actually could do something different and present something different for kids and some nice restaurants and all this. It's got the possibilities for it, and it would draw people for Braehead. The thing that killed off these communities was drawing people out of the communities into Braehead. And surely the cultural ideas we have now should be about drawing people back at it.
Definitely. And again, the definition of the culture is not just a painting, a drawing, or someone singing. It's Bell, it's Greek Thompson. We could go through a million people in our history that designed buildings, made heavy engineering widely accepted across. You could go to any continent in the planet, and what you will find is enclaves where Scottish people have went out to train, whether it be mining, shipbuilding, etc. And what you find is small enclaves that still have our culture. They still have that idea that everyone should be equally responsible and that everyone has the ability to inspire.
Well, it was that idea, right? It was speaking about, we were speaking about the guy McCarg from Greenock, Clydebank, who, if you actually, we'll need to talk about this, we'll need to rake it out and go through it, but if you're actually talking about environmental architecture, I mean, the biggest place in the world to do it is this college in America that this guy for Clydebank started, because he couldn't do it here. You know, he had to go to America to create this. So even anybody studying environmental architecture, this is where they would go, and it came from here. You know, that all these possibilities could have happened, and these people have spread to the four winds, because we don't even understand our own culture. We don't understand the value of it, what it is and who it is, and different things like that. And I think that's why people were a bit surprised at this culture event, because their idea of a cultural event is completely different to what a cultural event is.
They were looking for a ceilidh and a dance, and somebody singing and do a wee play.
It's like having fun. That's what they mean by culture.
But
which is fine, but
that's entertainment.